Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered if we are truly alone in the universe? It's a profound question that stirs the imagination and makes us question what we know about our own history. Today, we're diving deep into ancient Mesopotamia to explore the intriguing theory of the Anunnaki. Found in Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki were described as celestial beings that descended from the heavens. But could they have been more than just myth? And what if I told you this ancient tale has echoes in other cultures around the world, posing the possibility of a common narrative of extraterrestrial contact? In the heartland of Mesopotamia, one of the cradles of human civilization, the Sumerians etched a compelling narrative into clay tablets. They spoke of beings known as the Anunnaki, divine entities who descended from the heavens. These celestial figures were not mere flights of fantasy but were perceived as genuine influences in the Sumerian society. In the Sumerian cosmology, the Anunnaki were believed to be the offspring of An, the sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. And among these divine figures, some, like Enki, Enlil, and Inanna, held significant roles in Sumerian myths and epics. They were seen as divine mediators, connecting the celestial realm with the earthly domain and playing a part in the creation and early development of humanity. The Sumerian texts describe Eridu as the first city established by the Anunnaki on Earth. Interestingly, Eridu is considered one of the oldest cities in the world, and it's in this ancient city that the concept of urbanization, written language, and state rule first began to emerge. The Anunnaki were often associated with bestowing wisdom and knowledge upon humanity. They're said to have taught humans the arts of civilization, like law, agriculture, architecture, and writing, catalyzing the societal shift from hunter-gatherers to settled agricultural communities. Now the crux of the issue remains. Are these accounts of the Anunnaki mythological constructs created to provide explanations for natural phenomena or historical events? Or could they be interpreted as early human interactions with beings from another world, documented through the only means available at that time, myths and legends? The ripples of the Anunnaki influence, it seems, extend well beyond the boundaries of Sumer. Whether it's under different names, titles, or representations, ancient cultures around the globe have distinct tales of divine beings descending from the skies to interact with humanity. Let's turn our gaze across various cultures and decipher these intriguing narratives. In ancient Egypt, for instance, the pantheon of gods was believed to have descended from the heavens to guide human society. Their god of wisdom, Thoth, similar to the Anunnaki, was said to have introduced writing, mathematics, and architecture to humanity. Intriguingly, the Sumerians' neighbor, the Akkadians, had their equivalent of the Anunnaki called the Igoge. Even halfway across the world in Mesoamerica, the Maya believed in the Kukulkan, or feathered serpent, a deity that bestowed knowledge and wisdom. He was known as Quetzalcoatl among the Aztecs. Meanwhile, the ancient Indian texts, the Vedas, tell of the devas, divine beings who interacted with humans and even interbred with them, a narrative strikingly similar to the Anunnaki's role in Sumerian texts. In Greek mythology, the gods resided atop Mount Olympus but frequently descended to Earth to interact and sometimes mate with humans, leading to the birth of demigods and heroes. Again, this resonates with the Sumerian account of the Anunnaki breeding with humans to create demigods. These parallels in disparate cultures across various geographical boundaries pose a bewildering question. Are these uncanny resemblances mere coincidences, sprung from the shared human impulse to personify and deify natural phenomena and existential quandaries? Or do they point towards a common thread, an ancient global influence by sky beings weaving through the tapestry of human civilization? As we dig deeper, we tread along the precipice of the known and the unknown, venturing into realms that blur the boundaries between mythology, archaeology, and even, perhaps, extraterrestrial encounters. This tantalizing and universally resounding theme of celestial beings lending a hand in the development of human civilization is truly compelling. From the celestial dragons of Chinese lore, the Norse gods of Asgard, to the divine pantheon of the Roman Empire, stories of mighty beings from the stars are deeply entrenched in our collective consciousness. So why is it that across wide oceans, over towering mountains, through vast deserts, and deep in lush rainforests, the tale of star beings visiting Earth, helping humans or sometimes wreaking havoc, finds its way into the oral and written traditions of civilizations? One explanation proposes that these myths are archetypal, that is, they represent universal symbols or motifs embedded deep within our collective unconscious, as Carl Jung might argue. They are part of our human heritage, a product of the shared fears, desires, and the innate curiosity about our place in the universe that is common to all human societies. Another explanation draws on the theories of Swiss author Erich von Däniken, who argues that these stories are not merely symbolic but literal descriptions of encounters with extraterrestrial beings. He contends that these celestial beings were, in fact, technologically advanced aliens who were mistaken for gods by our less advanced ancestors. Moreover, this global myth of celestial beings suggests a diffusion of cultural elements between ancient societies. This could mean that either these stories were so universally relevant that they spontaneously arose in each culture, or that ancient civilizations were much more globally connected than we give them credit for, sharing stories and myths across vast distances. Yet another perspective comes from the field of astroarchaeology, which suggests that these stories might represent early humans' attempts to understand and document astronomical phenomena. The celestial beings may be personifications of planets, stars, and celestial events like comets or meteor showers. However, the line of thought that we're most interested in aligns with the Sumerian text's narrative, that these beings were advanced entities who directly intervened in human society, teaching us agriculture, architecture, writing, and social organization. As we delve further into this topic, we'll encounter theories both intriguing and controversial. Each viewpoint offers a different lens to view these ancient narratives that have shaped our world and continue to puzzle and fascinate us to this day. The question is, which lens brings the truth into the sharpest focus? And are we prepared for what we might see? With such fascinating theories and tantalizing connections, one might be tempted to jump headfirst into believing these stories. However, as any good investigation goes, we need to approach this from a scientific perspective, scrutinizing the evidence, evaluating its validity, and understanding its context. Firstly, let's consider the Sumerian texts themselves. The clay tablets on which these stories were written were inscribed with cuneiform script, one of the earliest known forms of writing. Translating these is a complex task, often open to interpretation, so it's entirely possible that descriptions of the Anunnaki and their actions may not be entirely accurate. For instance, Zecharia Sitchin, a popular author known for his translations of these texts, proposed that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrials who came from a planet called Nibiru. Other scholars, however, have contested his interpretations, suggesting he read too literally into metaphors and symbolism in the text. In the realm of archaeology, physical evidence can also be ambiguous. While we find inexplicable feats of engineering in ancient structures and iconography that seems to depict otherworldly beings, these can also be explained by human innovation and the power of human imagination. Some proponents of the ancient astronaut theory point to technological achievements of ancient civilizations as evidence of extraterrestrial intervention. They argue that the construction of the pyramids of Giza or the Nazca lines in Peru would have required knowledge and technology beyond the capabilities of the people of the time. However, many archaeologists dispute this view, asserting that these feats are testament to human ingenuity rather than alien assistance. Turning to the global similarities in myths, these can be explained by the shared human experiences and archetypal narratives. While it's intriguing to think that similar stories of celestial beings across cultures point to a common historical event, it's also possible that these myths arose from shared human fears, desires, and attempts to understand the natural world. If we pause for a moment and put the skepticism aside, what could this Anunnaki influence really mean? Starting with the texts, the Sumerians described the Anunnaki as deities who descended from the heavens. They were seen as bringers of civilization, teaching humanity various aspects of culture like law, agriculture, architecture, and even the mysterious art of divination. If we consider this from an ancient astronaut perspective, this could be interpreted as these beings sharing advanced knowledge and technologies. This perspective gains even more weight when we consider how quickly civilization seemed to have sprung up in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. The region saw an almost abrupt transformation from a hunter-gatherer society to one that built cities, developed agriculture, and invented writing. Could this sudden leap have been aided by extraterrestrial influence? Moving to the global scale, if the Anunnaki did influence other cultures, we might need to rethink the concept of independent innovation. Currently, historians believe that many cultures developed similar technologies and beliefs independently, a phenomenon called parallel evolution. But if the Anunnaki theory holds true, it suggests a more interconnected ancient world than we currently believe. To take an example, let's consider the pyramids. Pyramidal structures appear not only in Egypt, but also in cultures as far removed as the Mayans in Central America. If we were guided by extraterrestrials in our distant past, it certainly poses intriguing questions about our origins and our place in the universe. Are we truly alone, or have we been part of a galactic community since the dawn of civilization? And as always, thanks for watching. We have taken a journey through ancient texts, explored cultures from around the globe, and tried to decode the influence of the Anunnaki. While the theory of extraterrestrial intervention in our past remains a topic of speculation and debate, it prompts us to keep an open mind, to question the accepted narratives, and to continue our quest for knowledge. As we ponder the mysteries of our past, we may just find clues that could reshape our understanding of our place in the universe. But as we continue our search for answers, remember, it's not just about reaching the destination, but also about the thrill of the journey itself. Keep exploring, keep questioning. The Anunnaki are a group of deities in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, particularly in the Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian pantheons. The connection between the Anunnaki and the Akkadians is primarily through the Akkadians' adoption and adaptation of Sumerian religious beliefs and mythology. When the Akkadians conquered and assimilated the Sumerians, they inherited many aspects of Sumerian culture, including their religious beliefs and practices. This included the worship of the Anunnaki, who were believed to be a group of powerful gods and goddesses responsible for various aspects of life, such as fertility, agriculture, and justice. The Anunnaki played a significant role in the religious life of the Akkadians, as they did for the Sumerians before them. They were often invoked in prayers, rituals, and religious texts, and their stories were passed down through generations in the form of myths and legends. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Let's continue and learn more about the Akkadian and Anunnaki connection. Some of the most prominent Anunnaki in the Akkadian pantheon included Anu, the supreme god of the sky and the head of the Anunnaki pantheon; Enlil, the god of wind, storms, and the air, associated with power and authority; Enki, known as Ea in Akkadian, the god of water, wisdom, and creation, who was believed to have played a significant role in the creation of humanity; Inanna, known as Ishtar in Akkadian, the goddess of love, fertility, and war, who was a central figure in many myths and legends. It is important to note that while the concept of the Anunnaki is rooted in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, there is no historical or archaeological evidence to support the idea that they were extraterrestrial beings or had any direct influence on human civilization. This notion is a modern interpretation and speculation that has become popular in some alternative history circles. The Akkadian Empire's rise to power was a testament to its ability to bring together diverse cultures and political entities under a single centralized authority. Sargon of Akkad's unification of the Sumerian city-states was a transformative event, shaping the political landscape of Mesopotamia for centuries to come. Sargon was able to achieve this remarkable feat through a combination of military skill, diplomacy, and strategic planning. One of the key factors in the success of the Akkadian Empire was its capacity to adapt and assimilate the cultural and technological achievements of the Sumerian city-states it conquered. This enabled the empire to maintain a cohesive identity, even as it expanded its territories and incorporated new cultures and peoples. For example, the Akkadians adopted the Sumerian system of cuneiform writing, using it to record their own language and administrative records. This not only facilitated communication and administration within the empire, but also allowed for the preservation and continuation of Sumerian literary and scholarly traditions. Sargon of Akkad's military campaigns were marked by a combination of brute force and strategic diplomacy. He recognized the importance of securing the loyalty of the conquered city-states, and in many cases he allowed local rulers to maintain their positions, provided they swore allegiance to him and paid tribute to the empire. This approach helped to ensure the stability of the empire, as it mitigated the risk of rebellion and fostered a sense of continuity for the conquered peoples. The rise of the Akkadian Empire also had far-reaching economic implications. As the empire grew, it facilitated the expansion of trade networks throughout the region, connecting the resource-rich regions of Mesopotamia with the wider Near East. This led to increased prosperity and economic development, as the empire became a major hub for the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. Furthermore, the Akkadian Empire's military successes and territorial expansions led to the establishment of a vast and complex administrative system, which was crucial to maintaining control over its diverse and far-reaching territories. Sargon and his successors appointed governors to oversee the various regions of the empire, ensuring that local affairs were managed efficiently and that tribute was collected and distributed as needed. This system of governance laid the groundwork for subsequent empires in the region, such as the Babylonian and Assyrian empires, which built upon and refined the administrative structures put in place by the Akkadians. The rise of the Akkadian Empire was a multifaceted process, driven by Sargon of Akkad's ambitious vision, military skill, and diplomatic acumen. The empire's success was also rooted in its ability to assimilate and adapt the cultural and technological achievements of the Sumerian city-states, fostering a sense of unity and shared identity among its diverse subjects. The Akkadian Empire's innovations and achievements were essential in maintaining and expanding its influence, and they left a lasting impact on the region and beyond. The empire's accomplishments in various fields, including language, art, architecture, science, and administration, are a testament to its capacity for creativity and adaptation. One of the most significant innovations of the Akkadian Empire was the development and widespread use of the Akkadian language. Building on the cuneiform writing system invented by the Sumerians, the Akkadians adapted this system to express their own Semitic language. This facilitated communication and administration across the empire, which encompassed diverse linguistic and cultural groups. Moreover, the Akkadian language became the lingua franca of the ancient Near East, playing a critical role in diplomacy and trade for centuries. In the realm of literature, the Akkadians made significant contributions to the rich Mesopotamian literary tradition. Among their most notable works is the Epic of Gilgamesh, a foundational text of world literature that explores themes of heroism, friendship, and the search for immortality. The empire's extensive use of written records also allowed for the preservation and transmission of Sumerian literary works, ensuring that these earlier texts were not lost to history. Akkadian art and architecture showcased the empire's sophistication and cultural dynamism. Akkadian artists developed a unique style, characterized by a heightened sense of realism, detail, and emotional expression. The bronze head of Sargon of Akkad, for instance, is a prime example of this style, displaying an extraordinary level of craftsmanship and artistic innovation. Similarly, the victory stele of Naram Sin, which commemorates the king's military triumphs, demonstrates the development of a more naturalistic approach to depicting the human form and a keen attention to narrative. Akkadian architecture was also marked by its grandeur and ingenuity. The empire's rulers constructed monumental buildings, such as palaces and temples, to display their power and authority. Advances in engineering and construction techniques, such as the use of mud bricks and the development of the arch and the vault, enabled the creation of large and durable structures, many of which have left a lasting impression on the archaeological landscape of Mesopotamia. The Akkadians built on the scientific and mathematical achievements of the Sumerians, making significant strides in various fields. In astronomy, they developed the first known star catalogue, which allowed them to track celestial bodies and predict their movements. This knowledge was essential for various aspects of daily life, including agriculture, navigation, and religious observances. In mathematics, the Akkadians made important advances in the areas of geometry and arithmetic. They developed a sophisticated system of metrology, enabling them to measure and calculate land areas, volumes, and distances with remarkable precision. Their mathematical achievements laid the groundwork for subsequent Mesopotamian civilizations and contributed to the broader development of mathematics in the ancient world. The innovations and achievements of the Akkadian Empire played a crucial role in its rise to power and its lasting influence on the region. The empire's cultural, artistic, and intellectual contributions not only helped to consolidate its authority, but also shaped the development of subsequent civilizations in Mesopotamia and the wider Near East. The decline of the Akkadian Empire can be attributed to a combination of factors, including internal strife, external threats, and environmental challenges. Despite its remarkable achievements and lasting impact on the region, the empire ultimately succumbed to the pressures that it faced, giving way to a new era in Mesopotamian history. One significant factor in the decline of the Akkadian Empire was internal strife and instability. As the empire expanded, it became increasingly challenging to maintain centralized control over its diverse territories and populations. The vast expanse of the empire, coupled with the difficulties of communication and transportation, made it difficult for the central government to enforce its authority and maintain order. Moreover, the empire's later rulers struggled to maintain the same level of leadership and vision as Sargon of Akkad and his immediate successors. This led to a weakening of the central authority, as various regions sought greater autonomy or even outright independence. Revolts and uprisings became more frequent, further undermining the stability and cohesion of the empire. In addition to internal strife, the Akkadian Empire faced mounting pressure from external threats. The empire's rapid expansion had brought it into contact with numerous neighboring powers, some of which began to challenge its dominance. The most significant of these threats came from the Guti, a mountain tribe from the Zagros Mountains to the east of the empire. The Guti conducted a series of devastating raids and invasions which weakened the empire's military and economic strength. The decline of the Akkadian Empire also coincided with the rise of other regional powers, such as the Elamites in southwestern Iran and the Amorites in Syria. These groups sought to capitalize on the empire's weakened state, further contributing to its fragmentation and eventual collapse. Recent archaeological and environmental research suggests that the decline of the Akkadian Empire may have been exacerbated by a severe drought that affected the region during its final years. This drought, which lasted for several decades, led to widespread crop failures, reduced agricultural productivity, and increased competition for resources. The resulting food shortages and economic instability would have further strained the empire's ability to maintain order and control over its territories. The decline of the Akkadian Empire marked the end of an era in Mesopotamian history, but its legacy would continue to shape the region's political, cultural, and intellectual landscape for centuries to come. The empire's innovations in language, art, science, and administration laid the groundwork for the later civilizations of the Near East, including the Babylonians, Assyrians, and Persians, who adopted and built upon many of the Akkadians' accomplishments. Moreover, the Akkadian Empire's rise and fall serve as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay of factors that can determine the fate of a civilization. Its story highlights the importance of strong leadership, cultural adaptation, and the ability to overcome internal and external challenges in the pursuit of greatness. The story of the Akkadian Empire's rediscovery and its enduring significance in the modern world is a fascinating tale of archaeological intrigue and scholarly perseverance. Since the first excavations in the 19th century, the empire's cultural, artistic, and intellectual achievements have continued to captivate the imaginations of researchers and the general public alike. The rediscovery of the Akkadian Empire began in the mid-19th century when archaeologists, primarily from Europe, started excavating ancient Mesopotamian sites in search of evidence of the world's earliest civilizations. Early excavations at sites like Nineveh, Nimrud, and Babylon brought to light a wealth of artifacts and inscriptions that revealed the existence of a previously unknown ancient empire. Over the following decades, additional excavations at sites like Nippur, Tel Brak, and Tel Leilan uncovered further evidence of the Akkadian Empire's rich history and cultural legacy. One of the most significant discoveries in the study of the Akkadian Empire was the unearthing of the royal archives of Ebla, an ancient city in present-day Syria. These archives contain thousands of clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform texts, which provided invaluable insights into the empire's political, economic, and social life. The Ebla archives also shed light on the complex relationships between the Akkadian Empire and its neighbors, revealing a network of alliances, rivalries, and trade connections that extended throughout the ancient Near East. The rediscovery of the Akkadian Empire has had a profound impact on our understanding of the history of the ancient Near East and the broader development of human civilization. The empire's innovations in language, art, science, and administration provided crucial insights into the processes of state formation, cultural exchange, and technological progress that shaped the region's trajectory. The study of the Akkadian Empire has also contributed to broader debates within the fields of archaeology, anthropology, and history. For example, the empire's rise and fall have informed theories of social complexity, state collapse, and environmental change, offering valuable case studies for scholars seeking to understand the factors that drive the emergence and disintegration of complex societies. Additionally, the Akkadian Empire's rediscovery has played a key role in the development of modern Assyriology, the academic discipline dedicated to the study of ancient Mesopotamian languages, history, and culture. The decipherment of the Akkadian language in particular has opened up new avenues of research, allowing scholars to access a wealth of previously inaccessible textual sources and providing a more nuanced understanding of the region's past. Welcome to our journey through history as we explore the fascinating story of the Babylonian Empire and its connections to the Anunnaki, a group of powerful deities in ancient Mesopotamian mythology. The Babylonian Empire was one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world, known for its monumental architecture, scientific achievements, and influential legal code. But before we delve into the incredible accomplishments of this empire, let's start by exploring the Anunnaki's role in shaping the religious and cultural landscape of ancient Mesopotamia. Hello and welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now that's been said, let's continue. The Anunnaki were a group of gods and goddesses worshipped by the various cultures of ancient Mesopotamia, including the Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians. As a descendant of the Akkadians, the Babylonians inherited many aspects of their predecessors' religious beliefs, including the veneration of the Anunnaki. These deities played a significant role in the lives of the Babylonians, who believed that the gods controlled the forces of nature and the fate of humanity. The Anunnaki were invoked in prayers, rituals, and religious texts, and their stories were passed down through generations in the form of myths and legends. And now, with the foundation of the Anunnaki's influence in mind, let's explore the rise, achievements, and eventual fall of the Babylonian Empire. The rise of the Babylonian Empire can be traced back to the early 2nd millennium BCE, during a time of great political upheaval in Mesopotamia. The region was divided into several city-states, each ruled by its own king, and conflicts between these city-states were common. It was in this turbulent environment that the Babylonian Empire began to take shape. The city of Babylon itself was founded around 1894 BCE by the Amorite king Sumuabum. However, it was under the rule of Hammurabi, reigned 1792 to 1750 BCE, the 6th king of the first Babylonian dynasty, that the empire truly began to emerge as a major power in the region. Hammurabi was an ambitious ruler who sought to expand his kingdom's influence and territory. Through a combination of diplomatic alliances, strategic marriages, and military conquests, he managed to bring the majority of Mesopotamia under Babylonian control. One of Hammurabi's most notable military achievements was the conquest of the rival city-state of Larsa, which gave him control over the economically important trade routes along the Euphrates River. He also conquered other neighboring city-states such as Eshnunna, Mari, and Elam, further expanding his empire's reach. During his reign, Hammurabi not only focused on military expansion, but also on the internal development and administration of his kingdom. He implemented a series of reforms aimed at improving the lives of his subjects, such as the construction of irrigation canals to enhance agricultural production and the establishment of a centralized bureaucracy to govern the empire more efficiently. Hammurabi is perhaps best known for his legal code, the Code of Hammurabi, which was a comprehensive set of laws covering various aspects of daily life, such as trade, property rights, and family law. This code, inscribed on a stone stele, is considered one of the earliest and most complete legal codes in human history and provides a valuable insight into the society, values, and governance of the Babylonian Empire. After Hammurabi's death, his successors continued to expand and consolidate the empire's power, even as it faced various challenges from both internal and external forces. Over the centuries, the Babylonian Empire would experience periods of decline and resurgence, marked by the rise and fall of different dynasties and rulers. The Babylonian Empire, which thrived during the 2nd and 1st millennia BCE, left a significant legacy through its numerous achievements. These accomplishments spanned various fields, including architecture, science, mathematics, literature, and law. Here are some of the most notable Babylonian achievements. Architecture. Babylon was known for its grandiose architecture, including the city walls, the Ishtar Gate, the anunaki, a massive ziggurat temple, and the fabled Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The Hanging Gardens, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were a series of terraces filled with exotic plants and trees, supported by complex irrigation systems. Babylonian astronomers made substantial advancements in the field of astronomy. They meticulously observed and documented celestial phenomena, leading to the development of the first known system for predicting the future positions of planets. The Babylonians also created the lunar calendar, which divided the year into 12 months based on the cycles of the moon. Mathematics. The Babylonians pioneered the base 60 numeral system, which is still used today in our measurements of time, minutes and seconds, and angles, degrees, minutes and seconds. This advanced mathematical system allowed the Babylonians to perform complex calculations required for engineering projects, solve various practical problems, and even calculate the square root and cube root of numbers. The Babylonians used the cuneiform script, a system of writing that used wedge-shaped marks made on clay tablets. They made significant contributions to literature, producing works such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest known works of literature. Babylonian scribes also created extensive libraries, which housed vast collections of religious, historical, and scientific texts. The Code of Hammurabi. Under the rule of King Hammurabi, the Babylonians established one of the earliest known legal codes. The Code of Hammurabi, inscribed on a large stone stele, covered a wide range of civil and criminal matters. It provided a detailed account of the social structure, values, and legal rights of the people living in the Babylonian Empire. Medicine. Babylonian physicians were skilled in diagnosing and treating various ailments. They used a combination of empirical observations, medical texts, and incantations to treat their patients. While their understanding of the human body was limited by today's standards, the Babylonians made significant contributions to the development of medical knowledge. The Babylonian Empire was a center of trade and commerce in the ancient world, benefiting from its strategic location along the Euphrates River. Babylonian merchants traded with other civilizations in the region, exchanging goods such as textiles, grains, metals, and spices. These achievements showcase the ingenuity and creativity of the Babylonian people, who left a lasting impact on the fields of science, art, and culture. The legacy of the Babylonian Empire continues to influence our modern world, as we build upon the foundations laid by this ancient civilization. The decline and fall of the Babylonian Empire were a result of a combination of internal and external factors that weakened the empire over time, ultimately leading to its collapse. After the death of Nebuchadnezzar II in 562 BCE, the Babylonian Empire experienced a period of political instability marked by a series of weak and ineffective rulers. This instability weakened the empire's ability to govern its vast territories effectively and left it vulnerable to external threats. Economic decline. The Babylonian Empire's economy relied heavily on agriculture and trade. However, as the empire expanded, it faced challenges in maintaining its vast irrigation systems, leading to decreased agricultural productivity. Additionally, competition from other regional powers disrupted trade routes, further weakening the economy. The expansion of the Babylonian Empire brought with it the incorporation of diverse ethnic groups and cultures. As the empire declined, tensions between these groups began to rise, leading to social unrest and weakening the unity of the empire. Rise of the Persians. The rise of the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great presented a significant external threat to the Babylonian Empire. The Persians were a powerful and ambitious force, and they began to expand their territories at the expense of the Babylonians. Fall of Babylon to the Persians. In 539 BCE, the Persian army led by Cyrus the Great marched on the city of Babylon. The Babylonians, weakened by internal strife and economic decline, were unable to mount a strong defense against the invading forces. The Persian army entered the city without much resistance, marking the end of the Babylonian Empire. After the conquest, Cyrus the Great incorporated the Babylonian territories into his expanding Persian Empire and treated the conquered people with relative tolerance and respect. Hellenistic period. The conquest of the Persian Empire by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE marked the beginning of the Hellenistic period in Mesopotamia. The region was subsequently absorbed into the Seleucid Empire, one of the successor states of Alexander's empire, which led to the gradual decline of Babylonian culture and influence. The rise of the Parthian and Sassanid empires further diminished the remnants of Babylonian culture in the region. These empires, which controlled Mesopotamia at different points in time, introduced new cultural, religious, and political influences that would come to dominate the region, leading to the eventual disappearance of the distinct Babylonian identity. The decline and fall of the Babylonian Empire were due to a combination of internal factors, such as political instability, economic decline, and social unrest, as well as external pressures, such as the rise of powerful neighboring empires. The fall of Babylon to the Persians marked the end of the Babylonian Empire, and subsequent conquests and cultural shifts in the region led to the gradual disappearance of Babylonian culture and influence. The Babylonians, like other Mesopotamian civilizations such as the Sumerians and Akkadians, believed in a variety of gods that included the Anunnaki. The lasting legacy of the Anunnaki and the Babylonian Empire can be seen in several aspects: mythology and religion. The Anunnaki played a central role in Mesopotamian religious beliefs, shaping the spiritual lives of the Babylonians and influencing their worldview. Many of the gods in the Babylonian pantheon, such as Marduk, Enlil, and Ea, were associated with the Anunnaki. These gods were believed to have immense power over the natural world, and their influence can still be seen in the religious and mythological texts that have survived to this day. Creation of mankind. According to ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the Anunnaki created human beings to serve as their laborers. The creation of humanity by the gods is a common theme in many ancient cultures, and the Anunnaki's role in this process has left a lasting impression on the cultural memory of the region. The mythology and religious beliefs of the Babylonian Empire, including the stories of the Anunnaki, influenced later civilizations in the region, such as the Assyrians, and even spread to other parts of the ancient world. For example, some of the stories from Mesopotamian mythology, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, have parallels in the Bible and other ancient texts. Art and architecture. The Anunnaki were often depicted in Babylonian art, including statues, reliefs, and frescoes. These artistic representations of the gods reflect the importance of the Anunnaki in Babylonian society and provide a glimpse into the religious beliefs and practices of the time. The Anunnaki have captured the imagination of modern researchers and writers, leading to various interpretations and theories about their role in human history. Some suggest that the Anunnaki were actually extraterrestrial beings who visited Earth in ancient times, while others see them as symbolic representations of natural forces or aspects of human consciousness. These modern theories, while speculative, demonstrate the enduring fascination with the Anunnaki and their potential influence on human civilization. The legacy of the Anunnaki and the Babylonian Empire can be seen in various aspects of culture, religion, art, and even modern theories about the origins of humanity. As a central element of Mesopotamian mythology, the Anunnaki continue to capture the imagination of scholars and enthusiasts alike, demonstrating the impact of ancient Babylonian beliefs and achievements on our understanding of human history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of the Babylonian Empire and its connection to the Anunnaki. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the rich history and cultural connections between the Hurrians and Hittites, two influential civilizations that left their mark on the ancient Near East. We'll also investigate their potential ties to the Anunnaki, a group of deities from Mesopotamian mythology whose influence is said to have spanned across numerous ancient cultures. Let's begin by delving deeper into the origins and characteristics of the Hurrians and Hittites. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Let's continue now, shall we? The Hurrians were a prominent civilization that emerged around 2300 BCE and inhabited areas of present-day Syria, Turkey, and Iraq. Their influence peaked during the second millennium BCE, and they left a lasting impact on the region with their unique language, monumental architecture, captivating art, and religious texts. The Hurrians formed various city-states and kingdoms, with the Kingdom of Mitanni being the most powerful Hurrian state, reaching its zenith between 1500 and 1300 BCE. The Hittites, in contrast, were an Indo-European people who established a formidable empire in what is now Turkey and northern Syria. Their civilization thrived during the second millennium BCE, and they were renowned for their military prowess, advanced legal system, and the impressive capital city of Hattusa. The Hittite Empire reached its peak under the rule of Suppiluliuma and his son Mursili II, successfully challenging the supremacy of other major powers such as Egypt and Babylon in the region. The Hurrians and Hittites interacted with each other and surrounding civilizations, exchanging goods, ideas, and even occasionally clashing in conflicts. Despite their differing origins, these two civilizations shared some cultural traits, religious practices, and mythological elements, which has sparked the curiosity of historians and researchers seeking to understand their potential connections with the Anunnaki. As we explore the Hurrians and Hittites, one aspect that stands out is their shared pantheon of gods and goddesses, along with overlapping mythological narratives. This common ground has prompted scholars to examine potential connections between these two ancient cultures and the Anunnaki, who were central figures in Mesopotamian mythology. The Anunnaki were considered a group of gods and goddesses descended from the sky god Anu and his consort Kai. They played a significant role in shaping human civilization by bestowing knowledge and technology upon humanity. Many of the deities worshipped by the Hurrians and Hittites shared resemblances and functions with the Anunnaki, which has fueled theories about cultural exchanges between these civilizations and their possible shared origins. One notable example is the Hurrian storm god Teshub, who bears similarities to the Mesopotamian storm god Adad or Hadad, an Anunnaki deity. In Hittite mythology, the storm god Tahunt or Tahuna also shares similar traits with the Mesopotamian Adad. These parallels suggest that the religious beliefs and mythologies of these cultures may have influenced one another, and that the Anunnaki's presence could have extended to the Hurrians and Hittites. The Hurrians, in particular, adopted and adapted many Sumerian myths into their own religious canon. One such example is the myth of Kamabi, a Hurrian adaptation of the Sumerian tale of Enlil and Ninlil, which describes a succession of divine rulers. The Hittites, who had a history of assimilating the gods and goddesses of conquered peoples into their pantheon, also absorbed Hurrian deities and myths. Another intriguing aspect of these shared mythologies is the presence of divine beings that descended from the heavens to interact with humans. In both Hurrian and Hittite myths, gods and goddesses often intervened in human affairs, guiding the course of history and shaping the destinies of kings and nations. This theme of divine interaction mirrors the role of the Anunnaki in Mesopotamian mythology, where they were said to have had a direct hand in shaping human civilization. These religious similarities and shared mythological elements between the Hurrians, Hittites, and the Anunnaki provide fascinating insight into the complex web of cultural exchange and interaction that characterized the ancient Near East. The blending and adaptation of myths and religious practices between these cultures raise intriguing questions about the possible connections between them and the wider influence of the Anunnaki. As we delve deeper into the shared mythologies and cultural practices of the Hurrians and Hittites, we also encounter compelling evidence that suggests a significant influence of the Anunnaki on various aspects of their societies. This includes their legal systems, architectural styles, religious practices, and more. Let's explore some of these areas in more detail. In terms of legal systems, the Hittite Code of Laws shares many similarities with the famous laws of Hammurabi, the Babylonian king who was said to have received his laws directly from the Anunnaki god Marduk. For instance, both legal systems contain a similar structure, with a prologue, a list of specific laws, and an epilogue. They also feature comparable regulations on property rights, contracts, and punishments for various crimes. This resemblance hints at the possibility of an Anunnaki influence on the development of legal systems in both Hurrian and Hittite societies. Architecturally, both the Hurrians and Hittites constructed monumental structures, such as temples, palaces, and fortified cities. using advanced engineering techniques that may have been inspired by the Anunnaki. For example, the Hittite capital of Hattusa featured massive fortifications, including walls, gates, and watchtowers, as well as elaborate drainage systems. These architectural achievements suggest a level of technical skill and knowledge that some argue could have been passed down by the Anunnaki. In terms of religious practices, the concept of divine kingship, which was central to both Hurrian and Hittite societies, echoes the role of the Anunnaki gods as rulers of the earth. Kings in both cultures were considered to be divinely chosen and were often associated with particular gods or goddesses. This close relationship between rulers and deities may have served as a means of legitimizing their authority and reinforcing their power, a practice that parallels the role of the Anunnaki in Mesopotamian mythology. The influence of the Anunnaki can also be seen in the importance of astronomy and astrology in both Hurrian and Hittite societies. Just like in Mesopotamia, the movements of celestial bodies were believed to hold great significance, and both cultures developed intricate systems for observing and interpreting these celestial events. This shared focus on astronomy and astrology further supports the idea of a connection between these ancient civilizations and the Anunnaki. Overall, the potential influence of the Anunnaki can be traced in various aspects of Hurrian and Hittite culture, hinting at the possibility that the knowledge and wisdom of these deities were shared across the ancient Near East. But while definitive proof remains elusive, the similarities between these civilizations and their connections to the Anunnaki continue to captivate scholars and researchers who seek to unravel the mysteries of our ancient past. The potential connection between the Hurrians, Hittites, and the Anunnaki is an enthralling subject, and the search for tangible evidence to support these theories is an ongoing endeavor for historians and archaeologists alike. The ancient sites, artifacts, and texts associated with these cultures offer valuable clues about their beliefs, practices, and possible interactions with the Anunnaki. One of the most compelling sources of evidence is the cuneiform tablets found in the ancient cities of the Hurrians and Hittites. These texts provide invaluable information about the religious beliefs, myths, and practices of these civilizations, offering insight into their possible connections with the Anunnaki. By studying these texts and comparing them with Mesopotamian myths and religious documents, researchers can identify parallels and shared themes that suggest a common cultural influence. Archaeological discoveries also offer valuable evidence about the potential connections between these ancient civilizations and the Anunnaki. For instance, excavations at Hittite and Hurrian sites have uncovered statues, reliefs, and other artistic depictions of gods and goddesses that closely resemble the Anunnaki deities of Mesopotamian mythology. These discoveries lend support to the theory that the religious beliefs and artistic styles of the Hurrians and Hittites were influenced by the Anunnaki. Recent advances in archaeological techniques and technologies, such as remote sensing and ground-penetrating radar, have also facilitated the discovery of previously unknown sites and artifacts. These new findings may provide further evidence of the connections between the Hurrians, Hittites, and the Anunnaki, shedding light on the complex web of cultural exchange that characterized the ancient Near East. As researchers continue to explore the wealth of information contained within ancient texts and archaeological remains, they also seek to establish connections between these civilizations and other cultures throughout the ancient world. This process of uncovering and analyzing the evidence is essential in developing a fuller understanding of the possible influence of the Anunnaki in these ancient societies and the broader context of human history. While it may be difficult to definitively prove the existence of the Anunnaki or their direct influence on the Hurrians and Hittites, the similarities between their respective mythologies and cultural practices provide a fascinating window into the ancient world and the interconnections between different societies. The pursuit of ancient knowledge, whether it is found in the legends of the Anunnaki or the historical records of the Hurrians and Hittites, reminds us of the enduring power of the human spirit to seek understanding and meaning in the world around us. As we continue to explore the mysteries of our ancient past and the countless civilizations that have shaped the course of human history, we are left with a sense of wonder and awe at the resilience and creativity of our ancestors. The stories of the Hurrians, Hittites, and the Anunnaki serve as a testament to the potential of human achievement and the enduring quest for knowledge and understanding that has defined our species since time immemorial. In the ancient lands of Mesopotamia, the Assyrians emerged as a powerful and highly advanced civilization, forging an empire that would leave a lasting impact on the history of the region. Their prowess in warfare, innovative architectural feats, and intricate artistic expressions were just a few of the hallmarks of this Iron Age society. Intriguingly, the Assyrians shared a deep connection with the Anunnaki, a group of deities revered throughout ancient Mesopotamian cultures. This divine relationship not only shaped their religious beliefs and practices, but also influenced their political structure, art, and literature, leaving a fascinating and complex legacy for future generations to uncover. Hello and welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Let's continue this journey, shall we? The Assyrian Empire had its roots in the city-state of Ashur, located on the banks of the Tigris River in modern-day northern Iraq. The city was named after the chief deity of the Assyrian pantheon, Ashur, who was believed to grant the Assyrian kings their divine mandate to rule. By the late 3rd millennium BCE, Ashur had grown into a significant trading hub, benefiting from its strategic location along the Tigris River and its role in the lucrative trade network that connected Mesopotamia with Anatolia and the Mediterranean world. During the 2nd millennium BCE, Ashur and its surrounding region came under the control of various Mesopotamian powers, such as the 3rd dynasty of Ur and the Old Babylonian Empire. However, by the 14th century BCE, the Assyrians had managed to reassert their independence and expand their influence under the rule of King Ashur-uballit. Thus, Ashur-uballit first is credited with founding the Middle Assyrian Empire and embarking on an aggressive campaign of conquest, which saw the annexation of neighboring territories and the establishment of a pattern of military expansion that would define the Assyrian Empire for centuries to come. The Assyrian Empire continued to grow and consolidate its power under a series of strong and ambitious rulers, including Adad-nirari I, Tukulti-Ninurta I, and Tiglath-Pileser I. These kings implemented administrative reforms to centralize power and enhance their control over the expanding empire. They also invested heavily in infrastructure projects such as irrigation systems and road networks, which facilitated the movement of goods and people and enabled the efficient administration of the empire's vast territories. The zenith of Assyrian power came during the Neo-Assyrian period, which began in the late 10th century BCE with the reign of Adad-nirari II. This period saw a rapid expansion of the empire under rulers like Ashur-nasir-pal II, Shalmaneser III, Tiglath-Pileser III, Sargon II, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal. At its peak, the Assyrian Empire stretched from the Persian Gulf in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west, and from the borders of modern-day Iran in the north to Egypt in the south. Throughout their history, the Assyrians maintained an aggressive policy of expansion and conquest, often employing brutal tactics to subdue their enemies and maintain control over their vast territories. This policy allowed them to amass significant wealth and resources, which in turn fueled their continued growth and dominance in the ancient Near East. The Assyrian military was a key factor in the empire's rise to prominence and the backbone of its success. Its strength lay in its discipline, organization, advanced weaponry, and innovative strategies. The following elements contributed to the Assyrians' fearsome reputation on the battlefield. The Assyrians were among the first to use iron extensively in their weapons, giving them a significant advantage over their enemies. Iron was stronger and more durable than bronze, allowing the Assyrians to produce superior swords, spears, and arrowheads. This technological edge enabled them to overcome adversaries who were still reliant on bronze weaponry. The Assyrian army was highly organized, with a clear chain of command and specialized units, including infantry, cavalry, archers, and charioteers. This organization allowed for efficient communication and coordination on the battlefield, ensuring that the Assyrians could effectively execute complex tactics and maneuvers. The Assyrians were masters of siege warfare, employing innovative techniques and technologies to breach fortified cities. They utilized siege towers, battering rams, and sappers to undermine city walls. The Assyrians also employed psychological warfare, such as displaying the severed heads of captured enemy leaders to demoralize their opponents and hasten their surrender. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Assyrians maintained a large professional standing army that was always ready for battle. This enabled them to respond rapidly to threats and to project their power across the vast expanse of their empire. The Assyrian military made extensive use of cavalry and chariots, which allowed them to exploit the mobility and speed of these units to their advantage on the battlefield. Assyrian cavalry and charioteers were renowned for their skill and ferocity, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. The Assyrians developed efficient logistical systems to keep their armies supplied on campaign. They built roads and bridges to facilitate the movement of troops and supplies, and they established supply depots and granaries in strategic locations to ensure that their forces were always well provisioned. Assyrian soldiers were rigorously trained from a young age, instilling in them a strong sense of discipline and loyalty to the empire. This training, combined with their advanced weaponry and tactics, made the Assyrian army a formidable force on the battlefield. The Assyrian military was not only the foundation of the empire's success, but also an instrument of terror, used to suppress revolts and intimidate potential adversaries. The Assyrians' military prowess and innovations played a critical role in their rise to power and their ability to maintain control over their vast territories. The Assyrian Empire, once a dominant power in the ancient Near East, eventually succumbed to a combination of internal and external factors that led to its decline and fall. The following factors contributed to the disintegration of this once mighty empire: overextension and revolts. As the Assyrian Empire expanded, it became increasingly difficult to maintain control over its vast territories. Rebellions and uprisings were common, particularly in the more distant provinces. The Assyrians relied heavily on their fearsome military to suppress these revolts, but this strategy stretched their resources thin and left the empire vulnerable to external threats. The cost of maintaining a large standing army, as well as the construction of grand palaces, temples, and other monumental structures, placed a significant financial burden on the empire. This burden was further exacerbated by the need to fund expensive military campaigns to suppress revolts and defend the empire's borders. This financial strain weakened the Assyrian economy and made it more susceptible to external shocks, internal strife and political instability. Succession disputes and infighting among the Assyrian elite led to periods of political instability and weakened the central authority of the empire. This instability made it more difficult for the Assyrians to respond effectively to external threats and to maintain control over their territories. Environmental factors. Some scholars argue that environmental factors, such as droughts and famines, contributed to the decline of the Assyrian Empire. These natural disasters would have strained the empire's already weakened economy and disrupted its agricultural base, further exacerbating the challenges faced by the Assyrians. The Assyrian Empire faced increasing pressure from external powers, such as the Medes, Babylonians, and Scythians. As the Assyrians struggled to maintain control over their territories and suppress internal revolts, these external powers sensed an opportunity to challenge Assyrian dominance. In 612 BCE, the Babylonians and Medes formed a coalition and laid siege to the Assyrian capital of Nineveh, ultimately capturing the city and dealing a devastating blow to the Assyrian Empire. The final collapse. After the fall of Nineveh, the Assyrians attempted to regroup and establish a new capital at Haran. However, the empire was too weakened to withstand the continued onslaught from its enemies. In 609 BCE, the Babylonians and Medes captured Haran, marking the end of the Assyrian Empire as a political and military power. The decline and fall of the Assyrian Empire were the result of a complex interplay of internal and external factors. The empire's overextension, economic strain, political instability, and environmental challenges weakened its foundations, while the rise of powerful external adversaries ultimately led to its collapse. The fall of the Assyrian Empire marked the end of an era and paved the way for the rise of new powers in the ancient Near East, such as the Babylonians and the Persians. The Anunnaki, a group of deities in ancient Mesopotamian religions, played a significant role in shaping the beliefs and culture of the Assyrians, who were one of the dominant civilizations of the ancient Near East. The connection between the Assyrians and the Anunnaki can be seen in various aspects of their society, including their religion, art, and literature. The Assyrian religion, like that of other Mesopotamian cultures, was deeply influenced by the worship of the Anunnaki. These gods and goddesses were believed to have created humanity and were responsible for the natural world, as well as for human society and its institutions. Key Anunnaki deities such as Enlil, Ea and Anu were central to the Assyrians, and their worship was an essential part of religious life. Assyrian kings claimed to rule by the divine mandate of the Anunnaki, who were believed to have appointed them as their earthly representatives. This divine connection was used to legitimize the rule of the Assyrian kings and to justify their military conquests. Assyrian kings were often depicted in art and literature as receiving the blessing or guidance of the Anunnaki, further reinforcing the idea that their rule was divinely ordained. The influence of the Anunnaki can be seen in the art and iconography of the Assyrian Empire. Depictions of Anunnaki deities are found on Assyrian palace reliefs, sculptures, and other artifacts, often alongside images of the Assyrian king. The winged disc, a symbol associated with the sun god Shamash, another member of the Anunnaki, was a common motif in Assyrian art and was often used as a symbol of divine protection and authority. The Anunnaki featured prominently in Assyrian literature and mythology, which was heavily influenced by earlier Sumerian and Akkadian sources. Stories of the Anunnaki, such as the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, and the Epic of Gilgamesh, were known and revered by the Assyrians, who often incorporated these tales into their own literary works and inscriptions. As we delve into the intriguing world of the Assyrians, we find a civilization marked by exceptional achievements and indelible ties to the ancient Anunnaki deities. Their divine mandate provided a foundation for the Assyrian Empire's rise to prominence, fueling their military conquests and shaping their cultural expressions. Yet despite their numerous accomplishments, the Assyrians ultimately succumbed to a combination of internal and external pressures that led to their empire's decline and fall. I hope you enjoyed our video today. Stay tuned for more exciting developments, and let us know future suggestions in the comments down below.